Hi Mortgage Heroes, Andrew Cruz here in Business Development, and this is Monday Mortgage Minute. Well, last week, Jerome Powell spoke at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C., and as was expected, no big deal, no new news. Same went for Fed member John Williams when he was interviewed at the Wall Street Journal's CFO Network Summit. More of the same, but that's cause for concern because the Fed is all but admitting that they're not done yet. The real surprise last week was on Friday, when the preliminary consumer sentiment number came in higher than expected and has been increasing through the months that we believed were going to be the most challenging: November and December of 2022 and January of 2023. All markets were pretty choppy last week. Nothing really rattled the cages of the hands that hold the money, but for those that were paying attention, we did have 3 straight days of household name layoff announcements. Zoom is cutting 1,300 jobs, Disney 7,000 jobs, and Yahoo 1,600 jobs by the end of the year, which for Yahoo is 20% of their workforce. Take a step back from that and think about what is going on at these companies' accounting departments, that they have to lay off these proportionally big numbers of workers. That's a lot of spending to cut, and there will be a lot more of this. It's just gaining momentum. Now brace up. This week has a lot of important data coming out. Tuesday is all about CPI. We get month-over-month CPI, year-over-year CPI, and core CPI all coming out at the same time. This is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it because this reading weighs heavily into market sentiment and the mix of how the Fed comes to their hike conclusions. With the March 22 meeting still off in the distance, you can bet that this data will be key to helping them determine what they should do next. Wednesday, we get retail sales and core retail sales reports. These are both interesting to me because of what Jerome Powell said at the last press conference. They're seeing disinflationary pressure in certain segments of the economy, but the longer inflation persists, the more concerned they are that inflation will become entrenched. So, retail sales and core retail sales are really good indications of whether or not we as consumers are still spending nonchalantly or if price pressures are finally starting to weigh in on us. And also Wednesday, we get the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Remember last month when we got surprised with the extremely terrible reading of negative 32.9? It was projected to be negative 8, which is bad in its own right because anything below 0 signals worsening conditions. So negative 32.9 was a super bad indicator that got everyone's attention. This week, I'm looking to see if it's any better than negative 32.9, but my money's that it's still going to be negative by a healthy margin. Thursday, we get PPI and core PPI, which I will zero in on as leading indicators of what future costs are going to make their way to the consumers, which the CPI report from 2 days prior is evidence of. So, just like CPI, these readings of PPI will be critical for the Fed to digest in the upcoming weeks prior to the next decision on March 22nd. But wait, there's more! We'll also get unemployment, building permits, and housing starts. I'm really interested in building permits and housing starts this week. We are in desperate need of more inventory, and there's a lot of chatter going around that builders and developers can sandbag the markets and keep prices high by building slower so that the markets don't get oversaturated with supply, which drives down prices. But at the same time, literally everything connected to building these days is more expensive and is more entrenched, not transitory. Honestly, what are they gonna do? It's a real problem and its consequences are being felt in the real estate and mortgage markets. Just look at how many ADUs are going up. Garage conversions are underway, and attachments are being added onto pre-existing homes right now. That's all evidence that we need more space for people and more residential construction can't come soon enough. Each of the elements I just reviewed is important in their own right, but to have all of this together in 1 week is honestly a ton of insight into the overall health of our economy. Expect a lot of jostling around in the financial markets, and rates will likely get knocked around day by day since there are so many heavyweights stepping into the plate throughout the whole week. This one is honestly going to be entertaining. So what's all this mean for mortgage rates, Andy? In general, mortgage rates are trending sideways. Certain market activities are going to make money come into and out of the mortgage markets, which both impact rates going up or down. And what we're starting to see a lot more of is companies coming up with alternative methods for properties to change hands more readily. like assumable loan solutions. Loan servicers are creating new ways to help struggling homeowners figure out repayment methods that are accommodating so they don't have to take a home back through foreclosure. And even lenders are working to close the gap between current market products and more appetizing solutions to encourage buyer appetite. Like I said last week, days on market are going up. Listings are having to compete with one another to vie for buyers' interests. And sellers are issuing concessions in a variety of ways, like covering closing costs or covering a 2-1 buy down and other benefits for a buyer choosing their home. There's a lot less buyer competition in this market, and if inventory holds steady, there will be slim pickings, but also less fighting over homes. Lastly, if you find yourself in a tough spot and you already own a home, reach out to us before the situation is unfixable. There's a lot we can do before financial hardship completely takes root. So if you're privately in that situation right now and you need someone to talk to, reach out to your loan officer. Send us a DM, a text, or an email so we can help you out now. And thanks again for tuning in to another Monday Mortgage Minute. Remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you see this show right when it posts each week. Share this video with someone you know and care about so they can win in mortgage and real estate in 2023. And we will see you again next week.